jumping on, talking a little bit about quantum nutrition testing and finding the root cause and what are your labs missing. You go to the doctor and your doctor says everything looks great. And you're like, but I don't feel so good. I don't feel great. I don't feel like I should be feeling. You're tired. You're brain fogged. You're not sleeping well. You're irritable. Your gut's off. And you just know something is not right. You're anxious, maybe, or you're a little bit depressed, or you just seem on edge and you're not yourself. But your blood work looks great. And so the doctor goes, oh, it's in your head, or it's just anxiety. Well, we don't know why you're not sleeping because everything looks great and your thyroid levels are normal. But here, have a pill. And you're like, yay, gee, thanks. Why do I need this pill in the first place? And that seems to be the burning question that most patients have. Why do I need this? What's going on? What got me here in the first place? Well, your blood work is missing lots of different things. It's not telling you the why. It's not getting to the underlying cause. And so there's a new blood work called the MVX Plus Test, which measures cellular health, which measures longevity, which measures mitochondria and even inflammation within the body. And how is your liver doing? Do you have a chronic infection? So it's getting to the why and how healthy are you really? And then pair it up with quantum nutrition testing. It's amazing tools that help answer the why and getting rid of the why. So we're going to get into that. And I want to show you some before, so you'll see two labs side by side of a patient who has been with me and her results after being with me for 3 months. Let me see if I can actually do this correctly. So, all right. Let me see. Hang on. Okay. So we're going to go into this. All right. I don't know if you guys can read this, but this is this patient's previous results. So, and I'm going to kind of go over this. So, and I cannot see comments right now. But please leave a comment and I will answer any of your questions afterwards. So if you have any questions, put it in the comment section. I will read them and I will answer them. All right. So reference interval range. All right. As holistic practitioners, we have different levels. We have different ranges that we want to see patients in. This is basically an accumulation of all the numbers, the inflammation, all the way down to the isoleucine. This is basically how healthy are you? This is the new standard of gold for measuring true health. And the lower the number, the better. We want this number technically below 30. All right. So this is how healthy you are. So she's at 51 when she first came. Okay. And we can kind of see How is she doing? Where are things at? Her inflammation. Well, we all know that inflammation leads to disease. And we know that inflammation is just not good for the body. So we want this, the lower the better. We want this technically in the 20s. This patient, when she first came, she was 43 and now she's 31. So she's dropped. And technically, so this was collected on 4/8 and the original one was 122. So a little less than like 2.5 months. And she's dropped significantly. 11 points on her metabolic vulnerability index score, which is freaking amazing. And then her inflammation vulnerability, how much inflammation dropped significantly. So, and that went from 43 to 31. Now, the glycate, it went up a little bit. So, infection, and this could, and inflammation. So, glycate is infection and inflammation. Now, this could be a couple different things. So, patient at this time, we were going through, we were detoxing, we were killing off parasites. A lot of times when patients have parasites and we start killing them off, they can release other gunk into into the body. So she's in the middle of a parasite cleanse and a heavy metal detox cleanse. Actually, in some cases, as long as their symptoms are doing better, which I've seen in a lot of patients, sometimes some of these numbers can actually get worse before they get better, even though they feel better. And that's just sometimes the body's way of processing things out. So then we would kind of want to look at, like, are they getting enough drainage? Do they need more binders and things like that? But ultimately, again, is the patient feeling better? Are they clinically presenting better? Symptomatology wise, are their symptoms getting better during the process? Because sometimes, like I said, these numbers can, kind of go up and down a little bit too. So, and again, when we start killing off parasites and things like that and candida and whatnot, they can release other gunk into the body. And so some of these numbers may get a little bit worse. Overall, as patients' symptoms are much better, was coming in with like hormonal imbalances, not being able to sleep that well, energy levels were low, periods were off, and eczema and psoriasis. And symptoms improved significantly on all levels. So, again, we want to look at the whole picture too. So glycate went up a little bit, but not horrible. I'm not really concerned about that. Small HCl particle. This is, how's the immune system? Toxicity level within the body. Are they able to process toxins and eliminate them properly as well? And with this, the higher the number, the better. And she was at 13.8. Now she is 17.9. Huge improvement. We want this around at least 19. So she's moving in the right direction. And of course, she's feeling better. Her metabolic vulnerability index went down. Her inflammation vulnerability went down, glycate up a little bit. We're working on things still. And then her small HDL particle number went up, which is amazing. This is partly why she's feeling better. Metabolic malnutrition index. Okay, she was 61. She is now 55. This is, is she able to absorb her nutrients? Is she eating a proper diet and things like that? Is she missing nutrients from her diet? So obviously we don't want any malnutrition. So with this, the lower the number, the better. And we would like to see this in the 40s. So she's on her way. She went from 61 to 55. Citrate, mitochondria, liver function. This again can bounce around, especially during a detox. So I'm not too concerned. We want this around a 2. Not horrible. Yes, detoxing, killing off parasites does put a little bit of stress on the liver. I'm not necessarily worried about this. Again, everything else, her symptoms are improving. Her overall metabolic vulnerability index number improved. Her inflammation vulnerability index number proved her small HDL. So everything is moving in the right direction. This can bounce around a little bit. I'm not too worried about this. Valine, leucine, and isoleucine. These are proteins. So they were pretty low before. So, and when it's low, it can be a couple different things. Typically, how much carbs and how much sugar are you eating? If these numbers are low, and I hate to say it, but we see these proteins extremely, these three numbers, I see these numbers extremely low in vegetarians and vegans, a lot of times in vegans, because they're not eating protein and then they get mad at me, but yes, these numbers can be really, really low. Why? Because a lot of times these proteins are seen in animal sources and we get quality protein, valine, leucine, and isoleucine in animal protein. And amino acids are the building block for cells, muscles, and things like that. So we want these at a good number. So these were a little bit low. And when I just look at this and if I see these low, I ask, how's your diet? Are you eating enough protein, animal protein? In this case, no, she was eating a lot of carbs, a lot of bread, rice, and things like that. So we worked on that. We also worked on supporting vitamin B, specifically thiamine levels. So between increasing her protein, animal proteins, getting rid of carbs, and supporting thiamine levels, these are now going up. And she's also feeling better. She's got more energy. So her overall health is improving. So diet is part of this. So we want to look at, again, toxicity level. We want to look at, diet. We want to look at mitochondria, liver function. Is there an infection going on? Is there toxins in the body? Because these are the underlying causes of why people have their symptoms. So that's an example of somebody who was with me for 2.5 months. So the MVX Plus test kind of gives us a good idea, as you can see, hey, is the protocols and I say protocols loosely because we don't do protocols per se, but is the muscle testing, is the supplements doing their job? Is it sufficient enough? And we can see that in this patient, yes, what we're doing is working. The numbers are improving. Her symptoms are improving. And so it kind of gives us a good baseline. And sometimes things just take time. And so this kind of gives us an idea of behind the scenes, what's going on internally. Are we moving in the right direction? Because your symptoms, quote unquote, may not improve because we just need to give the body a little bit more time to heal. But this gives us an idea of whether we're going in the right direction. And then with quantum nutrition testing, so the MVX Plus test gives us an idea of oh yeah, we do have toxins. Yes, we do have some mitochondria. And then we can use muscle testing and quantum nutrition testing to find out well, what kind of toxins? Is it glyphosates? What organs are storing these? Is it pesticides, herbicides? Is it heavy metals? If the glyca is elevated, okay, what kind of infection? Is it parasites? Is it Lyme? Is it Candida? And where is these infections hiding out in? And that's the kind of cool part about, combining quantum nutrition testing and muscle testing along with the MVX Plus test. And then using the muscle testing, then we can find out specifically what supplements the body actually needs to get rid of the underlying cause. So it's literally a tailor-made program for you. The reason why I say protocols, I don't do protocols, because protocols typically mean that every single person needs the same set of supplements, the same dose for the same length of time, and that's not necessarily the case. I mean, is it a great way to start off with something? Absolutely. It's better to do a protocol than not do anything at all. But I like muscle testing because it treats the person as an individual. It treats the body as an individual. And what works for one person might not work for you. Or even if you want the same supplement per se, maybe the dose is different or the length of time is going to be different. And so it gets very specific for what you specifically need and want. And that's what I love about the muscle testing too. And quantum nutrition testing. So if you want more information on how to get the MVX Plus test, because you don't have to have a consultation with me, you can just do the MVX Plus test and then we can set up and kind of do, you can get that done. You can be out of state. There's only like 4 states where you cannot get this done. And I'll put the link down below. You can just get the MVX Plus test if you want by itself. And then we set up a phone call to interpret and go over what the MVX Plus test results show. And then you can take it from there on what you want to do with that. Or you can set up to get the MVX Plus test and the quantum nutrition testing scan done if you so choose. The quantum nutrition testing consultation actually includes 2 appointments. The consultation is about an hour appointment, and we go over a lot of different things. We go over like your symptoms. We go over head to toe analysis. We ask in-depth questions to kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And then we use a technique called quantum nutrition testing, which can be done in person and virtual. So you don't have to be, again, in person. I have patients across the country. Works freaking amazing. And we check your nervous system over. We check all of your organs and glands. Find out which ones are functioning optimally, which ones are not. And if they're not, then why? What is the underlying cause? Parasites, candida, things like that. And then what supplements your body specifically needs to get rid of the underlying cause. So, and that's an hour appointment. So we put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Then everything gets taken home and I put together a detailed report. And this is your report of findings. Then your second appointment is an hour long as well. And this is to go over what we found. So in the report of findings, we go over in depth what was found. Why do you have your symptoms? And then what recommendations we make based off of the quantum nutrition testing scan. And we go over the MVX Plus test results. And this is about an hour appointment as well. So that's 2 hours of professional consultation time plus the MVX Plus test. So for the month of May, for Mother's Day, and we've never done anything this low before, not for all 3. So all 3 things are typically $350. For Mother's Day, whether you're a guy or whether you're a woman, you get all 3 for only $89. So that's the 2 1-hour appointments and the MVX Plus test for $89, normally $350. And if you have an HSA or FSA account, that will pay for all of that. Or you could just do the MVX Plus test, which is a $100 value on its own with interpretation and a phone call from me, only $5 till the end of May. Can't beat that. So if you'd like more information or you'd like to sign up, I'll put the link in the comments. Have a wonderful night, guys.